Rick Dollar here for the Rick Dollar Show, and thanks for joining us today. My guest today is Mr. Graham Sharp. You might remember him or know him from the Steep Canyon Rangers. Got a little project going here, a little side project, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing great. I'm home in Asheville right now, and it's Friday, so I got a Friday off, which is not normal for us. So I'm at home and we're chilling and have some family around and eat some pizza later on today, and that's about as much planning as I've got.
That's it. You don't have to plan too much in this world, or you shouldn't anyway. Hey, this
Not
record
all
is
the time.
is called "How Did We Do It," which is probably I say that all the time. How did we do it? But
I know, yeah.
killer record.
It-
I'm really liking our hot shot of the week last week was Watertown, and that seems to be doing really well on the charts. But I don't know this song Goodyear. I was playing it in the car earlier today, man, and I was like, this is just feels like a New Orleans. It's got that New Orleans vibe to it, and you even use a little Cajun in there too. So enjoyed it.
yeah. Yeah, I wrote that song just kind of, my wife's family's all from New Orleans down
Mm-hmm.
there. We go down and visit from time to time, and I've always loved New Orleans music. I don't know.
Oh
There's just
yeah,
something about it. What's not to love?
so true.
Whether it's that old like Pres Hall kind of jazz stuff, or more like I love like all that stride piano, like Professor Longhair and James Booker and the Dr. John and all that stuff. Alan Toussaint and Irma Thomas, like I just love it. So, anyways, we try to go out and see some music when we're down there, and we've been lucky to cross paths with French Quarter Fest a little bit down there. We played Jazz Fest once with the Rangers, which was amazing. But yeah, one random night we just went into this bar that sounded great. It sounded like there was some good music going on Frenchman Street, and there was this lady in there singing, and she was belting. She was awesome. She couldn't have been. Yeah, I mean, she was tiny. She was this tiny little lady, and they were singing that Beatles song. I guess it's "Come Together,"
Mm-hmm.
where he gets "You got hair down below his knees," and as soon as she said that, she reached up and pulled the wig off her head and threw it on the ground and finished the song, and that was the end of the set. Finished it all bareheaded. And oh, it was just so awesome. It was just like, one of those moments when you're sitting there and you're like, this is great.
Oh my gosh! I tell
So,
you
that
what,
kind of
it's got this New Orleans feel, but I'm just telling you something. I think you're writing this thing. You got to be writing this thing from the heart. It's got to be like you're writing from the last 15 years, I think. Am I right? Or
100%. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these songs, I mean, Watertown kind of falls outside of it, but a
Mhm.
lot of the rest of them were written really like for my wife, for my family, just like just little pieces of kind of what we've been through, and
Mhm.
and I think a lot of them really I ended up making this record just because a lot of them, I mean, for one, they were very like personal songs to me, and you know a lot of them, they're not like heavy songs, or you don't have to like listen to them several times to figure out what's going on or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
They're all, they come off pretty light. And the Rangers, I think we sort of tend towards, I don't know, a little stuff that's maybe a little deeper, a little heavier. I don't really know. But they just didn't feel like Rangers songs to me.
Mhm.
And well, I've been through a couple album cycles with most of those songs, and they hadn't been, we just hadn't recorded them. So rather than just sort of let them sort of die on the vine, I had to sort of decide to pick them and stomp them and turn them into wine.
No doubt, man. Who produced this record, by the way?
So Mike Ashworth,
Okay.
he's he's the drummer, dobro player, guitar, everything player with the Rangers.
Hmm.
Um, and he does. he does a lot of production. Actually, he's producing one of our buddies' records this week, and
Hmm.
we started off talking about it. I was like, man, and I mentioned to you before we went live here that like I really wanted to keep this thing simple and easy. So like, the first idea was like, we're just going to record it in your living room, Ashworth. We're just going to do it there. We started doing that, and then he was like, well, I got buddy, got some better gear, and he came over, and then his buddy was like, well, I'm building a studio in my basement. So we went
There you
over
go.
there, and yep. And so all of a sudden we were in, a simple little basement studio, but it had all the tools you need. My buddy Derek Stutt is his name, and he's right there in Brevard. I'm in Asheville.
Hmm.
Ashworth and Derek are in Brevard, North Carolina. And yeah, so just worked on it kind of on and off. We'd go down there and spend a few days, and then maybe take a couple months and just be busy with stuff, and then come back and revisit it. And it kind of happened along like that, and just sort of pulled in the pickers, a bunch of great pickers from where we live, kind of as we went. There's a couple guests like Jerry Douglas, recorded a song, recorded one of the tunes, which was awesome. Um, he's such a pro, and he was so generous with like, I don't know. A lot of times, like I've done it before, like the way this record was made was we all tracked it separately. Like I didn't have
Right.
the time or the wherewithal to like coordinate a ton of different people coming in and recording together at the same time. It was just
Yeah.
more logistics than I was capable of because of doing the Rangers and all that and family, whatever. So people would come in and kind of do their parts. Started with the banjo, then brought in bass and guitar, and we did that and just kind of layered it on like that. And I've done some recording like that, and you typically like will record your part and get it just how you want it and send it in. But Jerry Douglas Flux, he sent us like 7 or 8 tracks of like full recordings of him taking him. It's like, here's what I think is best, but y'all just pull through this and choose through it. So I mean, it was like having this whole buffet of amazing Jerry Douglas playing throughout the song to pick with. So I just had I hadn't had much experience with him in sort of that realm, and he was really cool about that. But the rest of the players are pretty much people from around Asheville here. Lindsey Pruitt plays the fiddle,
Hmm.
and kind of in the jamgrass world, know her as she's the fiddle player with the John Stickley trio.
Hmm.
Um, and let's see, Drew Matalich play mandolin. He's typically a guitar player, but I first saw him as a mandolin player when he was playing for Billy Strings.
Hmm.
Um, he was Billy's player a few years ago, and Ryan Stigman played guitar. He lived around here, and he's now gone off with Zach Top playing pedal steel with Zach Top's band. Um, and who else? Tommy, our buddy Tommy played some dobro. He's from Fireside Collective, Tommy Marr.
Hmm.
So really just like, the local all-stars, which was
That's
really
it.
nice to be able to just some of the people from the hometown who I really like so much.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you could tell Douglas. I mean, anytime I hear him play on somebody's record, I could, you don't even have to show me the paperwork. I can just hear it. And I mean, I was getting ready to
Yeah.
ask you about Jerry Douglas, and I didn't even know he played on this record, but I was like, man, that sounds a lot like him. So he just
hmm
does what he does.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the mark of a special player. There's only so many players, so you can hear him play 5 notes, and you're like, that's so and so. Like I know who that is. And there's, a handful for me. There's a handful of banjo players like that, who I really love, and
Oh
they're
yeah.
recognizable like that. Plenty of other great players also, but it's few and far between who just have that recognizable sound, and that's Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeremy Garrett's like that, man. You can tell when he cranks that fiddle up. I'm like, wow.
Yep. Yep.
So it's
Agreed.
it's yeah, exactly. So as far as the Rangers go, okay,
hmm
um, were these songs written for them, or were they just written by you for yourself?
Well, I mean, everything I write is sort of first of all is for the Rangers.
Right.
Some stuff as I'm writing, I'm like, well, this song isn't gonna. I don't think it's gonna work. And sometimes I surprise myself. Sometimes there's a song that I think is not suitable for the Rangers that I end up we end up
Mm-hmm.
playing, or somebody hears and ends up being great. So I mean, they're all always being for the Rangers. That's just my MO.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as time went on, and like I say, a couple album cycles went by, and some of these songs have been around that long, and were just sort of leftovers. Um, I don't know.
Wow.
I felt like I felt like I just needed to get some of them out there a little bit.
Well, I'm going to say this, man. I'm sure people out there would love to have your leftovers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because these are some good tunes. I mean, "Living Like Thieves," another great song, and
Thank you.
I mean, I love Silverleaf Chapel too. I mean, that's
Yeah,
one of the best instrumentals of the year. I mean, I hear people when they do instrumentals, they try to overdo it. I mean, they push it too hard. But this is just like a, I don't know, it's kind of a smooth kind of thing that you can get into, and it's just a good song, you know.
yeah, it's a real peaceful thing. I wrote it initially. A friend of mine in town here, one of my best buddies, is a painter,
Mm-hmm.
and he got hired to paint basically like the entrance to a chapel in
Oh
Raleigh,
wow.
this big park they have in Raleigh that they've been sort of building out for the public. It's called Dick's Chapel, I think, in
Mm-hmm.
Raleigh. And what he did is he got silver, like really thin paper, I mean, less than paper thin silver leaf, and he coated the whole walls of this thing with this silver leaf so it shimmers, and then painted on top of the silver leaf. He said it
Wow.
was like herding butterflies to get that stuff
I
on the
can
walls. But
imagine.
anyway, so he wanted, yeah, yeah, and it's beautiful. The effect is amazing. But he asked if I would write some music, like a little bit of music they could play in there, and sort of like music to go along with the sort of the whole painting. So that
Yeah.
song "Silverleaf Chapel" is like what I wrote to go along with his big old thing. Yeah.
Well, "Steady Round Me" was what I was listening to when we signed on there, and that's just like a, it just fits everything that you've written that I've listened to in this album so far. It just seems like it's supposed to be there. Now, you wrote all these at different times, right?
Yep. Yeah, the Steady Around Me is one, actually the only one on there that's has a co-write that I wrote with somebody, and
Mm-hmm.
Seth Walker. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know Seth Walker, but he's a great, like, kind of blues, funky sort of singer-songwriter dude. And he moved to Asheville a few years ago, and we sat down, and I kind of had that first little bit of that song, and man, we cranked. I mean, I think we yeah, that one just flowed right out like water, and then we went bowling.
Well, there you go. That's everybody take
Yep,
notes.
that's when you know
If you're
you.
a songwriter, do this and then go bowling, and you'll be okay.
Well, that's when you know you've got it. When you can adjourn and go bowling, that's like, man, that felt good.
And not even worry about it. You're just like, hey, I don't even
Not
care
even,
how I do. So, I
yeah, but
mean, you're doing a lot like this. I mean, I'm just seeing a trend here. I think, you know, I've even noticed that some of the songs that the Rangers are doing right now are a little more kind of a laid back sort of vibe to them. Is there a reason for that, or is that
Mhm.
just like, or am I just hallucinating?
I mean, I think part of it may just be like mellowing out, getting older. I mean, we were always like, I mean, the band, like, from the start, like, our whole objective, was to, like, build a band that can go on stage at this bluegrass festival after whoever, Lonesome River Band or
Mm-hmm.
Doyle Lawson or Third Time Out, and go out there and just crush it. Like,
Exactly.
that was like our biggest goal as a band when we were really getting going.
Mm-hmm.
That served us really well, but that mentality of just having to, like, just bear down as hard as you can go every moment, and really just, like, do that. And I think, and maybe as we've gotten, a little older and mellowed a little bit, and I think maybe sort of starting to appreciate that it can be powerful in a different way. It doesn't have to, like, beat you across the head. It can kind of maybe, like, reach in and grab your heart a little bit more.
Exactly.
So I think there's that, and obviously, bringing in new members, new singers. I think bringing Barrett forward as a singer, really, he kind of has that tendency.
Mm-hmm.
I think Aaron sort of kind of can go both ways, but I think just those little shifts, have yeah, um, maybe taking a little bit of an edge off. Um, but it's always just so fun with a band. Like it just feels like it's always in motion, and you can always sort of reconfigure things, and you can always I don't know. I still love that part of it with the band,
Mm-hmm.
of always being a work in progress.
Well, what do you think about the state of music right now, particularly bluegrass and Americana? Personally, I'm seeing a kind of a shift, uh, in what's happening out there and what's popular and what people are paying tickets to go see. But what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it has sort of reflected the way maybe the music industry has gone in
Mm-hmm.
general, which is like stuff has gotten really consolidated at the top, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many shows that are $150 to go see a show.
Yep.
And people are willing to see it. The production is great. Obviously, the bands, people love the bands, and the bands are great. And that's a great thing for music. But the middle has been squeezed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think you see that in bluegrass a lot too. Like the
Mm-hmm.
just the kind of middle, sort of the smaller sort of bluegrass festivals we've always loved, who are just sort of middle of the road festivals. I think have been getting squeezed out for whatever reason, for different reasons. But I think that's been hard to navigate for a lot of the bands.
Mm-hmm.
So put that together with like not selling CDs like we used to,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what puts gas in the tank, is selling CDs. So yeah, they've sort of had to reorient and figure out different ways for it to work.
Mm-hmm.
But also seeing like, I mean, people were becoming like stars in this
Mm-hmm.
world too. I mean, obviously, like Billy Strings comes to mind first off, like
Yeah.
big star, big stuff. But like also, I mean, somebody like Chris Steele, I mean, been doing really big things for a long time.
Wow. He's smoking
Obviously,
hot,
Alison
man.
Krauss just came back around. Yeah, Sierra Hull, Molly Tuttle. I mean, the the batch of the kind of the new batch of headliners is
Mm-hmm.
really impressive. They're arguably bigger than any headliners have ever been in bluegrass music. I mean,
Yeah,
um,
it's been a while since I've seen a guy like Billy Strings or somebody come in and just kind of put his own mark on like at least half of the bluegrass listeners,
hmm
you know. Plus he goes over here and grabs people that, are like quote unquote deadheads. And I mean, I went to the I got two-day tickets for Billy and Savannah, and I walked around and I saw all the cool stuff they were selling and the kind of people that were there. And I mean, I just tried to keep an open mind about things. But I'm
yeah,
just gonna say it, man. It was one hell of a show. I mean,
yeah,
they it was the first night I thought, man, there's no way tomorrow night's gonna be any better than this. Man, was I wrong. I don't know. They was did a
yeah,
little
yeah, man.
reaching back and grabbed something, man, and boom, it was just an incredible 2 nights. But
Yes, yes, yeah. I
do
saw him
you
here in
think
Nashville.
do you think that's going to happen in the future though, where guys like you guys are going to grab an opener or somebody and sell out a larger venue, or what are
I
you
don't
looking
think
to
so.
do? No.
I don't think so. No, I don't. I don't. I think it's just kind of a lightning strike
Yeah, I
sort of
do
thing
too. I do too.
with him. Just kind of the right man for the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's like, and I feel, and it's he's standing on the shoulders of people who are standing on the shoulder. You know what I mean? Like he's standing on the shoulders of Green Sky, which
Mm-hmm.
was a big band. He who was standing on the shoulders of Yonder.
Yep.
Another really big band who was standing on the shoulders of Leftover,
Exactly.
who was standing on the shoulders in Newgrass Revival, or
Yeah.
however
So
you trace
true.
it.
No,
Uh,
I think you got it
yeah,
right there.
yeah, yeah. So there won't be. I don't know if there will be another Billy Strings, but there's going to be somebody new will come along, and
Mm-hmm.
we may already know them, and they're just kind of waiting for the moment.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that the caliber of the music is just is really really high.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it can help but keep growing.
Exactly. Well, what do you now? We're talking about the state of music right now. Keep that in mind. What do you think's going to happen to help bands maybe generate more income if they can't sell CDs or things like that at the table very much? I mean, you think it's going to go into, a different kind of merch or how's that going to work?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's figured that out right now
Hmm.
besides playing live shows.
Yeah.
I mean, for the Rangers, the live show is where it's at. That's where we make our pay, and you
Yeah.
know, and it's always been that to a degree, but it's just so much more so now. And one thing that the music industry is changing, I know that you've probably heard this before, but I mean, when bands can't sit at home and make money on records, make mailbox money on records selling,
Hmm.
then they're on the road, which means there's more bands on the road all the time, which means there's more competition. So you know, everybody just gets a little
Hmm.
smaller piece of the pie, and um, so yeah, when we're on both sides of that coin too. So, it's fortunately it's something that we love to do.
Hmm.
So, I'm not complaining about that at all because I love to do it and I'm lucky as I can be to do it. Um, but yeah, not without its challenges. I think, you've seen how bluegrass record labels have changed. I mean, they're
Oh
pretty
yeah.
geared. I mean, some of them don't even print CDs anymore. They're pretty much just geared to go towards satellite radio, because
Hmm.
right now that's the only thing that pays.
Hmm.
That's you'll get a little check from Spotify and stuff like that here and there, but
Hmm.
um, really like satellite radio is sort of been the only thing to sort of fill that hole of
Hmm.
going to the Gettysburg Bluegrass Festival and selling 180 CDs,
I
and
got you.
that used to be the thing.
Wow. Yeah, I always wondered about that, how hard it would be to. Now, I mean, you'd see a lot of guys like Doyle Lawson in the older days, Larry Sparks, and guys like that. Man, they would be at that record table. I mean, immediately after coming off stage.
Yep.
And, it's true what you're saying. That was their bread and butter. I mean, I'm sure, they made good money on the stage, but like you're saying, you got to have that gas money get around the corner.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Yeah, I know. Every time if we'd sell 100 CDs at the CD table at a festival, we'd all go to the Western Sizzling or something like that, afterwards.
I
Treat
didn't know,
ourselves. We're going sizzling. We're going sizzling.
I didn't know anybody liked that restaurant but me.
Apparently they did because I
Yeah,
think they're all
obviously.
gone.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, so when you guys coming back to Savannah?
It's a good question.
Yeah, man.
I guess that Savannah Music Festival just happened, didn't it?
It did. Yes, it did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. We're doing some stuff along the coast, I think, in the fall.
Okay.
As far as like Wilmington, Charleston. So maybe there's something that hooks in down there, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure. But hopefully just come back and do that music festival sometime soon. That's such a good festival.
it is, man. And they put so many good acts in like theaters around here. I mean, because SCAD's here,
Yeah,
there's a ton of theaters and you can see some really good shows and get really good seats and it doesn't cost you a fortune, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, I mean, that's yeah. I mean, that's special. I mean, because the cost of shows, like everything, is going up and up and up right now. Like we mentioned, like
Hmm.
how you know it can cost it can cost a lot of money to go see a show.
Yes, it can.
Um, and I come from a time when like $25 for a ticket's kind of that's just sort of what we paid for a ticket.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. It's not like that anymore, and people have a hard time swallowing that for like, and it's a little frustrating. I mean, not just me and our perspective, but like,
Hmm.
you know, also like an audience that's like they still expect the tickets to be $25, and that's just not it's just not workable anymore because everything's got more expensive. The gas has tripled in how expensive it is since then.
Hmm.
Like just the cost of everything has gone up. So I think that's something that I don't know if like bluegrass audiences are prepared to do or will ever be prepared to do, but you know, it's just a little something that I've noticed. If I see a show now that's $25, then you know, I mean, it's a pretty small like local sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um, so that's one thing I would ask of fans and people. If it now that it costs $30 for five guys and eat dinner, for McDonald's costs $25 for two people to eat dinner.
That's right.
So just like be patient with it. If the ticket prices go up, like it's just like everything else.
That's exactly right, man. Well, Graham, I appreciate you, brother. The record is called "How Did We Do It," and I love it. It's going to be a great.
I don't know how we did
I don't know either, man, but you did good. Okay. All
Thank you,
right.
brother.
Yes, sir. Rick Dollar here for the Rick Dollar Show, and I've been with Mr. Graham Sharp.